Hey, 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 hello. It's 3 o'clock, it's Thursday, it's here in Paris time. So here we are again, Chat with Kat. And thank you so much if you are checking in with me today. As you know, once a week I come live and we just talk about something that I'm pondering, something that's come up in conversations, maybe in one of my sessions, or just something that I think we need to open up to and have a little bit of a ponder or a think about or an unweave every single time it's Thursday and it's 3. So there we go. So thank you if you are watching. If you're swinging by on replay, thank you so much. Do let me know. Drop me some comments in. Let me know if you're here live. Let me know if you're watching on replay. Also, just to let you know, if you are watching on Facebook, I also stream this over onto my YouTube channel. I'd love for you to go over there and subscribe because there is some exciting things coming up starting next week over on the YouTube channel. That will only be on the YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm also on Facebook and you can find me on there and we stream onto there every week too. So hopefully that's just let a couple of people come live. But what I wanted to talk about today, as the title says, is maybe you already have the answer. Hi, Kathy, lovely to see you. So yeah, maybe you already have the answer. Now, this is something that is really truly fundamental to everything that my Spirit Collective, the crew, has been talking through lots of years about our own evolution as beings here, as humans here, and how this evolutionary process and how this awakening process and how us being more involved and aware of our own evolution and our own awakening and our own expansion is accelerating all of the processes. So because we are absolute nutcases, all of us that are watching this, you know you are, we are the ones that are constantly saying to the universe, bring it, show me some more, show me more of me, show me more, show me more. And this is why right now what is happening is because we're paying attention, because we're saying, show me more, we place our attention into a space where literally new fractals of the universe, of our own creation, come into being. And so therefore, because we are paying attention, we are creating those next steps, those next expansions, because we're paying attention. So what that means is, because we're continually bringing in these questions of show me more, show me more, show me more, show me more, we are accelerating our own awakening process. Very, very cool. But what it also means is that as we are expanding into these constant shifts of show me more, we expand, we have more of a potential and possibility around us that we are now witness to, that we are now able to pay attention into the more of the moreness of us. What that means is that we as a human have to shift and change into the version of us that is capable of stepping into that new expansion. So that means energetically we shift like that. Energetically we move into a new resonance. Energetically we already are the new version of ourselves after each expansion. We are already there. But the solidity of us, the human beingness of me, the life that I'm living in, the echoes that I'm living in, the decisions I've made so far, and the house that I live in, and the family that I'm in, and the husband that I'm with, and the dog that I've got, and the job that I've got, and all of that solidity comes from the decisions that I've made as the human me that was before that expansion that I just called in. So, are you following me? Good. Right. So, what that actually then means is in these moments where we have these expansions of our own perception and awareness and energeticness in this world, when we shift, what then happens is we also have access to more of the solutions and the answers and the new than we had access to before, because we're in a bigger room. Like, very simplistic, but we're in a bigger room, so there's more that we have access to. And in that new space are potentially projects, inspired books, programs, ideas, things we could do with our lives. New. And this is often when we're kind of sitting there and we have what a lot of us refer to as a download. When we suddenly go, whew, and we have this knowing of something has just arrived in my consciousness. Something has just arrived. And these are truly magical moments. I love these moments. Over the years, I have learned to adore these moments. And they started off, I wasn't adoring of them to start off with, to be honest, because I used to get these, and you probably know what I'm talking about, at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd be lying in bed, fast asleep, and then all of a sudden, bing, wide awake. And it's like, oh, I've got to write that down. I've got to write that. I've got to get that out of my head while it's there, because otherwise we have this like moment of agony where you know there was something really epic, but I haven't got it anymore because I didn't write it down in the moment. Do you know what I mean? You ever had one of those? Yeah, I bet you have. So I used to live with a notebook literally in every single room of the house. I had one by the bed, I had one in the bathroom, I had one in the office, one in the living room, one in my handbag at all times. You know, it was these ideas and these concepts and these new inspired possibilities would just pop into my head. And that's when I, going through this process of learning to trust that this is part of how the universe works, learning to trust that this is part of how our teams around us, how our collectives around us help us to learn more about the moreness of who we are. We're all on this evolutionary process. So when we are in this evolutionary process, we need to pay attention. We need to start, just like we talked about before, of the, paying attention to our own awakening by literally saying, bring me more. What we actually do when we listen clearly to these inspired ideas that arrive, we write them down, and it's almost like in the writing of them down, we're having a communication with the universe, and we're going, I am paying attention. I am listening. I am hearing. And what we then do is we get into this process where we are learning to channel more of the moreness of ourselves through these inspired ideas. We're literally channeling in more possibility into our world. So for me, that was very much write it down. I have so many notebooks in my house, and I will never, ever throw them out, because they are fundamental to my own process, and I just love and adore them. Not only because I look back at them now and I recognize like the me that I was back then when I was trying to understand that thing that came down, and I can now go back and look at them again and go, actually, I see something deeper in that download now. I understand something deeper in that download now. And so this is why I wanted to talk about this today, which is that maybe you already have the answer. Because quite often, in fact, most of the time, these inspired ideas, these things that we can do, these next level of us concepts and energetic frequencies that are coming through constantly. They feel so far away from where we are right now that it's really easy to dismiss them. This is why I'm saying, make sure you write them down. Make sure you translate as much as you can into a notebook or into a recording or into something. Not only does it validate with the universe that, yes, I'm listening, but it also means that you energetically kind of give permission to your own evolution. You give permission to your own energetic evolution by writing that down. Because when we have these concepts, as I said previously, our energy shifts immediately. The solidity of who we are then takes time. For us, we have to evolve into the us, into the me, into the you that you need to be to make that inspired idea a reality in the world. So when that inspired idea comes down, you give yourself permission to go, okay, I'm willing to go on a journey to become the me that I need to be. I'm willing to go on the journey to let go of the solidity and the bullshit and the layers of comprehension of who I am that is holding me apart from that idea being made real through me. And it's not always a conscious decision. But if we are aware of it and we let it be a conscious decision, the acceleration happens so much quicker. The evolution happens so much quicker because we're not fighting against it. And when we fight against our own awakening, what kind of happens is we are constantly only seeing the parts of us that are leaving, the parts of us that we're shedding. We only witness the pain and the turmoil. We only witness the pieces of us that are going, what the fuck's happening? I know, and all of these emotions that are coming up and all of this struggle that's coming up and all of these memories that are coming up. And if we're not aware that we are on this evolutionary journey to the me that I need to be to make this new version of me real, to make this idea, this concept real, then we can just get stuck in the process of the clearing. We can just get stuck in the process of the shedding of all of the pieces of me that don't need to be there, so that I can be a clearer channel for the me that I need to be to make this happen. It's all about, I'm explaining this right. So it's all about us being on a conscious journey. It's all about us continuing to say to the universe, yeah, I know that I'm going from there to here. And I know that to go from there to here, I'm going to have to be a different version of me. I'm going to have to let go of all of these reasons that is not already a possibility in my world. I'm going to have to let go of the me that used to be the me when I received that. So we're in this constant shift. And because we're making it a conscious effort now, because we're making it a conscious journey, because we're saying, I see the process. I see the process now of, I'm going to get this idea, then I'm going to have to shed and shed and shed and shed and shed and shed and unweave and undo and let go of all of the shit that I've got in my system, all of the fuckery of life that means that that is not here yet. When we know that that's what we're going through, it makes it so much easier because we can just go, yeah, I'm just in the middle bit. I'm in the middle bit. Yeah, I know, I'm in the middle bit. It's fine. I'm just going to let it out. I'm going to let it through. And so knowing that this is how it works, we can then go, okay, what have I forgotten that I already received? What have I not paid attention to that I've already received? What is it that I can go back to and find in my notebooks or go into my energy or go into my knowing and just remember, what is it that I'm not seeing here? Because maybe you already have the answer you're looking for. Maybe you received this years ago. Maybe you had the idea for the book that's going to change your life 10 years ago and you've forgotten all about it. But the process that you've been on for those last 10 years means that you right now are probably the version of you that you need to be to make that book real. Nothing happens by accident. We have these inspired ideas because we are giving permission to ourselves to show more of the moreness of me to the universe constantly when we are aware in our asking for it. And all of us that are here to be the light bringers and the visionaries and the way showers and the space holders, that's what we're doing. All of us creatives, all of us who are consciously creating life now, we're looking around at the world and we're going, I want different. I want more than this. I want beyond this. We are consciously creating a new world. We are consciously creating a new life. Even though we don't know what the how is, even though we don't know what the outcome is, we know energetically that we are creating the new because we're consciously choosing to ask for more. And we're doing this now on an accelerated process. It's all happening so quickly. And we're again and again and again and again and again allowing new fractals of reality to come into being, each of us as individuals, by choosing to see more, by choosing to ask for more, by listening to these inspired ideas that come through us, by paying attention to those nudges that we get to turn left instead of right that day, by listening to these internal nudges to go and talk to that lady at the coffee shop, even though you've never spoken to her before, or to smile at that guy that you just walked down the street, because that might make his day and that might be the thing that changes his life. All of us are able to access all of this infinite ability to live in this connected world now. And so by the listening and by allowing ourselves to pay attention to our own spiritual awakening, to allow ourselves to pay attention to these ideas that maybe these are the answers that we've forgotten about, this is how we are moving forward into the new. So what I would say is, where are you holding back now? If you've been through a process where you know that you've been transforming, if you have been through a process where you know you are not the same person that you were a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago, if you know that you are not the same person, then ask yourself, what have you not remembered? Is there an inspired idea? Is there something that already exists in your consciousness, in your awareness, a nudge that you had years ago, an idea that you had years ago, a concept you had years ago, something that arrived that you maybe dismissed at the time because it felt so far away from who you are in that moment, but right now, does it still feel so far away? Does it feel that the you that you are now could actually pick that up and make that real now? So just before I go, there's 3 really powerful questions that the crew brought through to me as part of the work that I do with them some time ago. And we can use these really powerful questions in this situation too. When we know that, we have received an inspired idea, when we know that something's come down to us, we've had a download of, oh, that would be so great, that would feel so great, but I'm so not ready yet. When we have these, there's a thing, I'm going to try and explain it in me, that I'm constantly having nudges. I'm listening. I'm constantly paying attention to. And I know Heather, you are as well. And I know Kathy, you are as well. And I know that Joanna, you are as well. There's the people that come into these live sessions. We're all constantly listening. We're all paying attention. But every now and again, there's something that lands and it feels like it's got weight. It's the only way that I can describe it. It feels meaty. It feels like it literally just takes over of my whole being. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's something. So like I say, it could be a book idea. It could be a business idea. It could be to leave the job you're in. It could be to leave the marriage you're in. It could be to move to a different country. It could be to buy a camper van. It could be to do anything. But there will be a certain weight to it that it feels more profound than the day-to-day nudges and connected GPS system that we have to get us through the days. So when we've had one of these downloads, right, and we've paid attention to it and we've written it down, that's the most important thing. We have to write it down, get it on a voice recorder, get it out somehow, because otherwise it will disappear. Because we're downloading an energetic resonance that our physical form has to translate. And if we don't translate it while the energy is there, our translation system won't be able to figure out how to get it out after that. And so I'm sure you've had these moments, same as I have, where you've ignored it. You've maybe gone back to sleep, or you were a bit busy at the time, and you go, oh, I'll write that down later. And then you go to write it down later and it just is not there. You know it was there. There's this great ache of, oh, that was so good and it's now gone, and there's this big void there. And anyway, so just reminding you, write them down. So the 3 questions are, okay, how am I being? And this is how we can accelerate the journey from there to here. So how am I being? So we've had this idea, we've had this life-shifting concept, idea, download, whatever it is. How am I being? Am I being brave? How am I being? Am I being courageous to look at this? How am I being? Am I being excited about this as a possibility? How am I being? Am I being nervous? Am I being timid? Am I throwing it away? Am I running away from it? Pay attention to how I'm being around this idea. How am I being around this? Then the next question is, who am I being? And this one always really gets me, because quite often I recognize that I'm actually being somebody else. Perhaps it's an echo of a member of my family, or perhaps it's an echo of an old teacher, or perhaps it's an echo of a previous version of myself, or perhaps it's something else. But sometimes it can also be I'm being a version of me that I no longer am. So we can react now through the same eyes and the same energy of the me that used to be, that would have had a different reaction, that would have been less courageous. And by coming into ourselves right now in this minute and going, actually, who am I being? Recognize, am I being the me that I am now? Or am I being the me that I used to be? Who am I being? Am I being somebody else here? Am I bringing through somebody else's words and somebody else's judgment of this? Who am I being? Really pay attention to that. And then when you know who you're being, if you're not being the you that you are right now, if you're not being the you that you are in this moment that is ready to walk towards that, then change your attitude, change your decision. And from this moment go, okay, I am going to be the version of me that I need to be to bring forward this acceleration so that I can bring forward this inspired idea a whole lot quicker. And then the 3rd question is, who am I becoming? So in this moment, when I know how am I being, and I've adjusted that, and then who am I being, and I've adjusted that, then we can say, who am I becoming? And damn right, I am becoming constantly the new version of me that gets me closer to making this inspired idea, this life-changing creative concept, this world-changing download, whatever it is, whoever we are in the world, depends on what we're actually receiving. Who am I becoming? Damn right, I'm becoming the version of me that I need to be to get there really quickly and to make that real. Because that is who we need to be right now. That is the purpose, that is the mission for all of us, light bringers, visionaries, creatives, teachers. This is who we are here to be. Because each of us, as I've said before, is an acupuncture needle in this world, shifting and changing through the millions of us that exist here now, shifting and changing the weaving of the energy frequency of this world by being who we are at the greatest version of who we can be in this moment. So we are literally weaving all of these little acupuncture points into the world and creating something new, creating something bigger, by each one of us going, show me more of the moreness of me, show me more of the possibility, show me more of the new, show me more of the uninvented. This is the power of what we are doing here in the world. So that inspired idea that you have, that has come to you because it wants you to make it real in the world, because you are the version of you that you are here to be, that means that you are capable of making that real through you. This is how important that little idea is. So that's why we have to pay attention. That's why we have to listen to these downloads. It's why we have to make the choices for ourselves every single day, to listen and to pay attention, because maybe we already do have the answer. And if we can get ourselves even quicker to be the version of ourselves that we need to be to make that real, then that's the choice we have to make. So I hope that that has been something to ponder about today. Get your notebooks out, go back, think about what it is that you've received. Maybe you already do have the answer. Go have a look. I'd love to know. Pop me in the comments if there's something that you've suddenly gone, oh, I remember, I got this down, I got this idea, I got this framework, I got this thing, and it made no sense to me at the time. No sense to me. Does it make sense to you now? Are you able to translate that? Are you able to be the expanded version of you that actually now that makes total sense? So if you'd like to find out more about the work that I do, maybe you'd like to come for a session, a one-to-one session with me, maybe you'd like to have a connection with the crew, you can find out all about me on my website at uninvented.life. And over on there as well, you can find a free ebook that I've written, which is called How to Drive Your Human, which is a what the fuck awakening guide for all of us here who have had those moments where we're looking around at the world and going, what? How did I get here? You know what I'm talking about. So thank you very much. Thank you everybody that's been here. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Christina, Joanna. I'm going to miss a few of you, Kathy. Everybody that's been here, thank you. Thank you so very much for being here live. Pop me a little hashtag replay if you're watching up on replay. Let me know what this has brought up for you today. John Barron's here. Hi, John. And yeah, let's see if we can speed up this evolution and get us where we need to be even quicker. Okay, huge, huge love. Bye for now.